Different words describe different people. But in the eyes of the law, there's one that fits us all. Human right number 7. We're all equal before the law. What are human rights? Find out at youthforhumanrights.org.
I'm Sonya.
I'm Ebong.
And I'm Kate.
And today we're dishing with you from Penn, located at 1001 Pennsylvania Avenue Northwest, with some yummy fusion food.
Fusion.
As an Asian fusion myself, I really like the Asian fusion mix.
And today we have a great guest with us. Her name is Elaine Mensah. She is the creator and host of a podcast show called Fashion BS. And it's exactly what you would imagine with Fashion
Pretty
BS.
much.
It's a lot of fashion and a little bit of BS. So
I think a lot of BS. A lot more.
That's a good show. That's a good show.
BS, I always thought it was like beauty and style, but I think we're talking about the literal
We
BS.
are. We're pretty much talking about BS in the way you understand it. But no, fashion BS really started as a concept of being kind of an off-cuff weekly fashion radio show that was distributed via podcasting, and really give us an opportunity to talk about fashion in a really fun and interesting way and different way. And to date has been incredible. It's been an amazing ride, and for it to be created here in DC and really got the industry buzz within the city, but outside of the city as well, has been incredible.
Well, I have a question for you,
Yes.
which is off the usual fashion
Yes.
thing. As you can see, I have maybe
have a
no
little
fashion,
something
so I
going
got.
on.
I have a
You
little
have to
Depends who you ask.
This is my question. I always get told, and I don't know what to think about this. So,
Right.
as the expert, people say to me things like, "Only you could pull that off."
Right. Take
that
that as
good?
a compliment.
Yes.
Good.
Well,
Yes.
I'm never sure. I'm like,
Yes.
is that like?
It just means I would like to do what you do, but I can't.
Okay,
And
so-
that's okay.
Silver.
They're not giving you BS.
They're
I'm not
actually
giving you BS.
tips.
Okay, so
Right.
silver suede too much?
No,
No.
not at all.
I like
I probably
suede.
do boots and gloves and
And a mini
just
skirt.
go
you
all
think-
out.
go all out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, work.
Trying
Okay,
to
I'm
trot
gonna
it up
work.
a little bit.
Okay.
Well,
I've
okay,
been given
you
permission.
just started it. You started it fairly recently.
Yes.
And you've already had on some great guests. I mean,
Yes.
you've had on Nigel Barker, who everybody in the fashion world knows is like a major photographer. You've had on a lot of the Project Runway contestants.
Yes.
So how do you decide who's important enough to share their fashion tips, and how do you go about getting them on the show?
You know, it's interesting. When we started Fashion BS, we thought, first of all, who cares? You know, we're really small. Who's ever really going to pay attention, you know, to a little old, you know, company and just project like Fashion BS? And it has been surprising how many people have really kind of jumped on board onto Fashion BS. When we pick guests, it's really based on who we find interesting. A lot of the times on the show, we actually talk about people
Yeah,
within
your
the
co-host,
Which
industry.
is why it's taken
Yes.
off. We all want to be in that conversation.
And I want to know what James, her co-host, everybody
Yes.
wants to know what James has,
Oh
because
my
James does
gosh.
not hold back.
James is my amazing co-host. I have to say, we always joke, he's the BS to my fashion. There would be no Fashion BS without James. Let me put it to you that way. So we have a lot of fun, and really we just talk to people that we find interesting. And at the same time, we try to anchor that with true industry guests and people that have some credentials. So you come on the show to have a good time, but at the same time, you come on and you talk about fashion. So yeah, we've had everybody from Nigel to Philip Block
Nigel,
to
I like the
Shiseido.
first
I mean,
name.
Nigel.
Yeah, you
well,
name it.
Nigel was one of my judges for Miss America, so I blocked him. I didn't listen to that episode. I didn't think he
Maybe
did
you didn't
what
broken
was
doll
No.
enough. Maybe you just
And I have to say one comment about Nigel. He was our very first guest. I mean, he was the very first person that came on Fashion BS back when it was my laptop and a microphone and a table.
How did you secure that? Like, what was the story behind it?
Yes. Well, James, again, my co-host James, he was styling the Humane Society Save the Seals event. And Nigel was going to be the host at the event. And he knew the PR person, and he literally called me on Monday. It's like, Elaine, what are you doing tomorrow? I'm like, what are you talking about? Can you come over immediately to policy? I'm like, I'm not even ready. We talked about it in concept, but we weren't ready to roll out. And we thought, when else are we going to get this opportunity? And we just did it, and he was extremely gracious, and he sat there behind my little computer on a little coffee table in policy, and he made it happen.
So how did you decide this medium versus video versus web versus whatever else? Like, why did you choose podcasting?
You know, it's interesting. I've dabbled, and Kate knows, I've kind of dabbled in a lot of this stuff in terms of multimedia. And my husband is a tech geek, so we have a 2.5-hour-ish commute every day.
Oh, wow.
Yes, and I have to sit there and listen to hours of these tech geeks on his podcast. And I thought, oh, what I wouldn't give to have a fashion podcast that I could listen to and have him sit through listening to that. And literally a light bulb went off in my mind, and I thought, wait a second, somebody has to have already done this. I couldn't have been kind of the only one. So I went online and I did some research, and a lot of the fashion podcasts that exist are actually video-based podcasts.
Right, which is sort of, you're talking about a very visual
Correct.
industry.
Correct.
And so you really have to use all your vocabulary skills to talk about it.
And you know, it's interesting, when I finally kind of decided to go with this audio format, I thought, you know, there's so many people that sit in cars, that go to the gym, that are walking down the street, that take the metro, that would love something so specific to what they're interested in. And we have so much humor. We do not take ourselves seriously at all. So it appeals to fashion enthusiasts, but it appeals to people that just want some humor and want to have a good time and spend 30 to 45 minutes of their time just listening to us BS, literally.
Well, do you have a dream guest, or maybe someone that you've already lined up is really someone that is your fashion idol?
Or someone that you wish you could bring on the show and be like, honey, please.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay, well, a couple people. First one is Mariah Carey.
Oh,
Wait,
good one.
Is she someone that you like, or someone that you want to tell what not to wear?
A little bit of both.
Okay.
Yeah, a little bit of both.
I give her a big honey, please.
A little bit of both.
No, why? Why is it?
Well, with Mariah Carey, because James is a huge Mariah fan. I mean, obsessively huge. And I would give anything to have her on the show without him knowing.
Oh.
And
You
just
may have to
see
do a
the
video
reaction.
episode for
Oh
that.
my
Yeah, it had to be
gosh.
video,
Yeah,
'cause-
there has to be video because
yeah, he'd be screaming.
he will be squealing.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes, squealing
So
with
who else?
excitement.
Who else?
That's one person. We would love to have Anna Wintour. I know it's so cliched, you know.
No.
I would love
I think it's a must.
to have her on the show. I think she's such a validation in the fashion industry, but to see if she can handle the humor, you know, kind of break the ice a little bit and just have a good time.
Well, you know, there's that new documentary that's out on her where she actually
Yes.
shows
September
A little bit
September
more
issue.
issue,
Right.
yeah.
Shows a pulse.
Yeah.
Like, she's such an ice queen.
She smiles.
Yeah.
I know, and it'd be interesting to
great.
see if we could get her, you know, to laugh or joke or say something. So
Definitely.
that would be an awesome one.
Well, in a city that is so often considered a city of fashion victims, we're so glad that you decided to start your entrepreneurial project here. And thanks for letting it have a DC focus. And thanks for coming on with us.
Thank you guys so much. It's been a pleasure to be here.
Don't talk about us tomorrow, please.
I might.
Oh, no.
Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at The District Dish and tell us what you thought about this episode and all of our others as our fan on Facebook. Thanks for joining us on this episode of The District Dish.